Have you ever met someone from a different country and felt a little nervous? You want to ask them about their home, their traditions, their life, but you're not sure what to say. You worry you might say the wrong thing or sound silly. What if you accidentally offend them? It's a feeling many of us have had. But what if I told you that with just a few key phrases and a little understanding, you could turn that nervous feeling into an exciting conversation? What if you could confidently connect with people from anywhere in the world? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. Welcome to English Bio Talk. I'm Anna, and I'm so happy you're here. In this video, we are going to learn how to talk about different cultures in English, respectfully, confidently, and with real curiosity. We will build your vocabulary, practice asking great questions, and learn how to share about your own amazing culture, too. And you will definitely want to stay until the very end of this video. Why? Because at the end, I'm going to share the number one secret to avoiding misunderstandings when talking with someone from a different background. It's a simple tip that will change the way you communicate. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. If you're ready to unlock a new level of English conversation, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to English Bio Talk, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a lesson. Let's get started. Point 1. Why is talking about culture so important? So, first things first. Why should we even spend time learning how to talk about culture? Is it just for traveling? Not at all. In our modern world, we are more connected than ever. You might have classmates, coworkers, or neighbors from all over the globe. Learning to talk about culture is a superpower for building real, meaningful connections. First, it shows respect and genuine interest. When you ask someone about their culture, you are not just asking for facts. You're saying, I see you. I value where you come from, and I want to understand your world better. This is a powerful message. It makes people feel respected and appreciated. It opens the door for friendship and trust. Imagine you meet someone new, and they ask you about your favorite holiday from your childhood. You would feel happy to share that, right? It's the same for everyone. Second, it helps you expand your own worldview. Every culture has unique ways of looking at life, family, food, and happiness. When you learn about another culture, you get to see the world through new eyes. You might discover a new type of music you love, a delicious recipe you want to try, or a philosophy about life that changes your perspective. It's like opening a window to a new room in the house of human experience. It makes your own life richer and more interesting. Third, it is fantastic for your English skills. Let's be honest, learning English from a textbook can sometimes be boring. But when you talk to a real person about their real life, you are using English in a natural, dynamic way. You learn new vocabulary, you practice your listening skills, and you learn to express complex ideas. These are the skills you need for real-world communication, not just for passing a test. Finally, and maybe most importantly, it helps us avoid misunderstandings. We will talk more about this later, but sometimes an action that is perfectly normal in one culture can be seen as strange or even rude in another. By learning about cultural differences, we can understand why people behave the way they do. We learn to be more patient, more empathetic, and better communicators. It helps us build bridges between people instead of walls. So, talking about culture is not just a small talk topic. It is a fundamental skill for being a global citizen in the 21st century. It helps us connect, learn, grow, and understand each other better. Point 2. Your essential culture vocabulary toolkit. Okay, to have a great conversation, you need the right words. Let's build our vocabulary toolkit. We are going to break it down into different categories so it's easy to remember. I want you to listen and maybe even repeat the words out loud to practice your pronunciation. Category 1. General concepts. These are the big, important words we use to talk about culture in general. Culture. Now this is the big one. Culture is the customs, ideas, beliefs, and art of a particular society or group of people. Example, I'm fascinated by Japanese culture, especially the food and the festivals. Example, learning about a new culture can be a very rewarding experience. Tradition. Noun. A tradition is a belief or a way of doing something that has existed for a long time among a group of people. Example, it's a family tradition to eat together every Sunday. Example, in my country, we have a tradition of giving gifts during the new year. Custom. Noun a custom is a way of behaving that is usual and accepted in a particular society. It's very similar to tradition, but often refers to smaller, everyday actions. Example, it is a custom to take off your shoes before entering a house in many Asian countries. Example, what are some of the social customs I should know before visiting? Values, plural noun values, are the beliefs people have about what is right and wrong and what is most important in life. Example, family and community are important values in my culture. Example, different cultures may have different values when it comes to time and punctuality. Heritage. Noun this refers to the history, traditions, and qualities that a country or society has had for many years and that are considered an important part of its character. Example, the city is proud of its rich cultural heritage. Example, museums help to preserve a nation's heritage. Diversity. Noun this means the state of having a range of many different things or people. Example, New York City is famous for its cultural diversity. Example, we believe that diversity in the workplace makes our team stronger. Category 2, food. Everyone loves talking about food. It's a safe and delicious topic. Cuisine. Noun this is a style of cooking. Example, I love Italian cuisine, especially pasta and pizza. Example, have you ever tried Thai cuisine? It's often spicy. Dish. Noun a specific type of food, prepared in a particular way. Example, what's a popular dish from your country? Example, my favorite dish is chicken curry. Staple food. Noun a food that is eaten routinely and makes up a large part of a diet. Example, rice is the staple food in many parts of Asia. Example, in my region, bread and potatoes are staple foods. Delicacy. Noun a food that is rare, expensive, or considered especially good. Example, in France, escargots or snails are considered a delicacy. Example, she offered me a local delicacy that I had never tried before. Flavor. Noun the particular taste of a food or drink. We can describe it with adjectives like spicy, sweet, sour, savory, and bitter. Example, this soup has a very rich flavor. Example, I enjoy the savory flavor of roasted vegetables. Category 3, festivals and celebrations. Another fun topic that everyone enjoys discussing. Festival. Noun a special day or period, usually in memory of a religious event, with its own social activities, food, or ceremonies. Example, Diwali is known as the Festival of Lights. Example, our town has a music festival every summer. Holiday. Noun a day of rest from work, often to celebrate a special event. Example, Christmas is a major holiday in many Western countries. Example, what is the most important national holiday in your country? Celebration. Noun a social event where you do something enjoyable to show that an occasion is special. Example, we're having a big family celebration for my grandfather's birthday. Example, the wedding celebration lasted for 3 days. Ceremony. Noun a formal public or religious event. Example, the graduation ceremony was very emotional. Example, there is a special ceremony to welcome the new year. Category 4, social life and etiquette. This category is about how people interact with each other. Etiquette. Noun the set of formal rules for polite behavior in a society or a specific group. Example, it's important to understand the local etiquette when traveling. Example, dining etiquette can be very different from one culture to another. Greeting. Noun something you say or do to welcome someone. Example, a handshake is a common greeting in business. Example, in Japan, bowing is a traditional form of greeting. Hospitality. Noun the friendly and generous welcome of guests or visitors. Example, we were amazed by the warmth and hospitality of the local people. Example, hospitality is very important in my culture. We always offer our guests food and drink. Community. Noun the people living in one particular area or a group of people with a shared interest. Example, there is a strong sense of community in my neighborhood. Example, she is an active member of the local arts community. Wow, that's a lot of words. Don't worry about memorizing them all at once. Try to choose a few new words from each category and practice using them this week. Point 3. How to ask questions respectfully. Now that we have the words, How do we use them? The key to a good conversation about culture is asking good questions. A good question shows you are curious, not that you are judging. The best questions are open-ended questions. These are questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. They invite the other person to tell a story. They usually start with words like what, how, why, or phrases like tell me about. Or could you describe? Let's look at some examples of great questions you can use. For food, instead of do you eat spicy food? This is a yes/no question. Try, what are some popular dishes from your region? Or, tell me about a typical meal you would have on a special occasion. For festivals, instead of, is New Year's a big holiday for you? Yes/no. Try, what's the most important holiday of the year for your family? Follow up with, how do you usually celebrate it? For daily life and traditions. Try, what is something that visitors to your country find surprising? Or, I'd love to learn about a common tradition related to weddings in your culture. Or, could you tell me about the role of family in your culture? Notice how these questions are invitations. They give the other person the power to decide what they want to share. Now, let's talk about what to avoid. The biggest mistake is asking questions that are based on stereotypes. A stereotype is a fixed, oversimplified idea about a group of people. Asking a question based on a stereotype can be offensive, even if you don't mean it to be. Questions to avoid: do all people from your country eat this food/act this way? Why it's bad? No country is a monolith. People are individuals. It's like asking, do all Americans eat hamburgers every day? Of course not. A better way: I've heard that this food is popular in your country. Is that true in your experience? This phrasing acknowledges that your information might not be perfect and respects their personal experience. Why do you guys always? Why it's bad. The phrase you guys can sound like you are separating yourself from them and making a judgment. The word always is a generalization. A better way: I'm curious about a custom I've observed. Could you tell me more about it? This shows curiosity, not judgment. The golden rule is be curious, not judgmental. Your tone of voice and your body language are just as important as your words. Smile, lean in a little, and listen carefully to the answer. Show that you are genuinely interested, and people will be happy to share their world with you. Point 4. How to share about your own culture. The conversation is a two-way street. The other person will probably be just as curious about you. So, how can you talk about your own culture in a simple, clear way? It's a great idea to prepare a little bit. Think about a few things from your culture that you find interesting or special. Maybe it's a festival, a type of food, a family tradition, or a local craft. Having a few topics in mind will make you feel more confident. Here are some useful sentence starters to help you share. In my country, it's customary to do something. Example, in my country, it's customary to bring a small gift when you are invited to someone's home for dinner. A popular food from my hometown is called. Example, a popular food from my hometown is called paella. It's a rice dish with seafood or meat. One of the biggest holidays for us is. Example, one of the biggest holidays for us is Lunar New Year. We celebrate with our families and have a large feast. A tradition that is very important to my family is. Example, a tradition that is very important to my family is getting together for a big lunch every Friday. What if you need to explain something that is very unique to your culture and might be hard for someone else to understand? Here are 2 tips. 1. Use an analogy. An analogy compares your tradition to something the other person might already know. Example, we celebrate a holiday called Mid-Autumn Festival. It's a bit like American Thanksgiving in that it's a time for families to gather and eat a big meal together. But for us, the focus is on celebrating the full moon. 2. Keep it simple. You don't need to explain the entire history of a tradition. Focus on the most important or interesting parts. Instead of a long, complex historical explanation of a festival, try, it's a festival to celebrate the harvest season. The most important part for me is spending time with my family and eating special rice cakes. The goal is to connect, not to give a history lesson. Share what is meaningful to you. People are more interested in your personal experience than in a list of facts. Your turn for a little homework. After this video, take 5 minutes and think, How would you describe your favorite holiday to someone who has never heard of it? Practice saying it out loud in English. Point 5. Navigating differences and the secret tip, okay? You've made it this far, which means you are serious about becoming a better cultural communicator. It's time for that secret tip I promised you. First, let's acknowledge that sometimes cultural differences can be confusing. What is polite in one culture might be impolite in another. Let's take punctuality or being on time. In countries like Germany or Japan, being on time for a business meeting is extremely important. Being even 5 minutes late can be seen as disrespectful. However, in some Latin American or Middle Eastern cultures, the concept of time is more flexible. Arriving 15 or 20 minutes after the scheduled time for a social event might be perfectly normal. Or consider communication style. In some cultures, like in the Netherlands or the United States, people tend to be very direct. They say what they mean clearly and openly. I don't agree with that idea. In other cultures, like in many Asian countries, communication is more indirect. People might use softer language to avoid conflict or causing someone to lose face. Instead of saying no, they might say, "That could be difficult," or "I will have to think about it." These aren't good or bad, they are just different. But they can cause misunderstandings if we are not aware of them. So, what do we do when we encounter a situation that feels strange or confusing? This brings us to the secret tip. The single biggest mistake we can make is to make an assumption. We assume the other person is being rude or lazy or dishonest based on our own cultural rules. So, the secret tip is this: always assume positive intent and ask for clarification. Let me say that again. Assume positive intent and ask for clarification. This means you choose to believe that the other person is not trying to be rude or difficult. You believe they are a good person operating by a different set of rules. Then, if you are confused, you ask a polite question to understand their rules. Let's see it in action. Scenario: your new coworker from another country gives you very direct, critical feedback on your work. Your first feeling might be to get defensive or upset. Applying the tip, first, assume positive intent. She is not trying to attack me. In her culture, this might be a normal and helpful way to communicate. Second, ask for clarification. You could say later, "Thank you for the feedback. I'm interested in how we communicate here. In my past experiences, feedback was usually given more indirectly. It's interesting to learn a new style." This opens a respectful dialogue instead of creating a conflict. Scenario: you invite a friend to your house for dinner at 7 p.m., and they arrive at 7:45 p.m. without an apology. You might feel annoyed. Applying the tip, first, assume positive intent. He is not trying to be disrespectful. Where he comes from, time for social events might be more relaxed. Second, ask for clarification, maybe at a later time in a friendly way. I'm always curious about cultural differences. In my country, for a dinner invitation, it's usual to arrive close to the time. Is it different in your culture? This approach turns a moment of potential misunderstanding into a moment of learning and connection. It is the most powerful tool you have. It shows humility, respect, and a true desire to understand. Conclusion: wow, we have covered so much today. We learned why talking about culture is such a vital skill. We filled our vocabulary toolkit with essential words about traditions, food, and social life. We practiced how to ask respectful, open-ended questions and how to share about our own backgrounds. And most importantly, we learned the secret to navigating cultural differences. Always assume positive intent and ask for clarification. Remember, this is a journey. You don't have to be perfect. You might make mistakes, and that's okay. The most important thing is to have an open heart and a curious mind. Every conversation you have with someone from a different background is a precious opportunity to learn, to grow, and to make the world feel a little bit smaller and a lot more friendly. Now, I want to hear from you. It's your turn to practice. In the comments below, share one thing you love about your culture. It could be a tradition, a food, a festival, anything. I will read every single comment, and I am so excited to learn from all of you. If you found this video helpful and learned something new today, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to English Bio Talk for more lessons to help you speak English confidently. Share this video with a friend who would find it useful. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. Keep practicing, stay curious, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.